We talked about the best coaster theming, but what about the weirdest, the strangest, the preternatural? I've used this footage quite a bit because the ride looks horrendous, but then one day I noticed this crab in the background, used as theming. Weird animals is what you're into, yes? Then how about Mars Energylandia in Poland? This coaster circles around these honestly inspired alien creatures. It might be classed as a family coaster, but I will not be taking my many children near this. This is Hurlenblitz in Austria, not to be confused with Australia. Previously called Magic Mountain and Star World, both of which also had some pretty interesting designs, like this giant King Kong looking Escarilla, and whatever the f this is. I just find the classic mining theme on Hurlenblitz to be pretty endearing, but as soon as the train enters the building, everything is changed. Now we're in a goddamn rave, and every epileptic person you ever met just died. According to their very own website, it's the world's largest indoor roller coaster, and considering that it's actually a moving attraction, that's kinda cool. This one's called Worm Around in China. The French Revolution, or French Revolution the Ride. This is a South Korean Vekoma coaster that traverses through a brightly lit tunnel before opening up into Lotte World's insane looking indoor park. It interacts so well and so frequently with the many unique elements like this pool with a couple prism stones in it, and these rooftops of the resort's several shops and hotels. The ride also seems insistent on almost decapitating people with an insane amount of near-miss elements. I'm honestly surprised this one is still operating because it looks like a logistical, mechanical, hell, even a statistical nightmare. This one's called Crazy Mouse. Very creative. Hundepretten, Hundepruten, Hundepretten. What an interesting looking coaster. I wonder what that name translates to in English. Oh, I see. Yeah, this ride is themed around dog farts, I suppose. There's a dog farting here, as you can see. There are farting sound effects. The dog who farts is called Henry Hundeprut, or Henry Dogfart, and this guy on CaptainCoaster.com liked it quite a bit. Werewolf, residing in Poland, doesn't have a whole lot of theming, but I'm just a big fan of these buildings' faces. There's quite a few of them, and they're just really well integrated into the massively, hugely large station building. This ride is actually a clone of Heidi, the ride at Plopsaland. Don't make a joke about the name. But Heidi doesn't have any faces on buildings. What a waste of wood. Donderstennen from the Netherlands deserves a shout out just because of his front train that manages to block the person on the right's entire view, which is quite an interesting design decision, especially for a family coaster where 50% of the riders are less than 4 feet tall. The name is based on creatures called tuffs, which are apparently rocks with faces, although I can't find basically any more information on this, and the rocks seem to also not have faces, so I and the guy who wrote this on Roller Coaster Database probably just lied to you all. Moncayo in Spain. This is mostly an unremarkable coaster, but I can't help but notice these floating orbs that basically surround every part of the track. I figure if you have a strong enough imagination, you could turn this into some sort of alien experience. One of my personal favorites is Spare Time Express, hailing from the United States of Canada. The ride is contained within this inhumane metal cage, and the weird theming in question is kind of a lack of theming. It's just in a warehouse, looking like a saw trap. It tells you what you need to know. This will kill you. The ride sounds so loud because of the acoustics of the room, and it doesn't really do that much outside of a helix, but it exists for it to be put in this video. Rainbow Children Coaster in Beijing, China is a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. Starting out in the station, we have these autumnal leaves hanging from the ceiling, which honestly has a great effect. I want to see this design on a completely different coaster. Things get even better when we're confronted with a giant monolithic snake, a dinosaur, and this guy and his brother doing some questionable poses. And finally, some gorillas. There's a lot of gorillas today. This coaster has it all. It seems to be based around Tarzan, possibly, but also it's kinda hard to tell. Kudel Mudel in Germany. This is a ride themed around cows, so that's pretty exciting. It doesn't go near anything other than barns and wooden structures that we've seen millions of times before. I just wanted to show off the trains. Damn, that's good stuff. This is Niagara in Italy. Rutschbanen in Denmark. I'm so sorry for the pronunciation. This is another coaster that isn't that notable for the most part. It's a good old classic 1932 wooden roller coaster with a very wonky lift hill. The name translated as roller coaster, so that's interesting. But the thing we're all here for is a naked lady that's straddling this tunnel. It's great for a family coaster. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Corkscrew Kyle. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time when I create a coaster based entirely around the divine concept of